There have been a lot of changes made to this channel over the last several months, and this one could be the biggest one to this point in time. In today's video, we're going to talk about a new piece of equipment that you may have noticed me using for the last couple of weeks, how much it's going to change things, and what else could be happening next, as well as another little bit of look down memory lane. Now, full disclosure, it's a warm day today. It actually got into the mid 80s. The fan is off. The wind is blowing pretty good though, so it should keep it relatively cool for the most part. But I wouldn't be surprised if I start sweating. So just throwing that out there. Plus, you're going to hear all the noise from the window. I may try to remove the background noise in Audition, but we will see. In any case, you've probably noticed I've been using a new camera. I've talked about it on social media. I've done a ton of video tests to this point. In fact, I have a whole playlist of them that you can check out at the card above. And it's been really fun to figure this camera out. Now, as you may know, it is the Panasonic Lumix G7, and it's been out for a little while now, a couple of years maybe even at this point in time. But it's still a very solid camera. It's a very good option for people who have less than $1,000 and want to get something that in most cases comes with a lens and can shoot up to 4K footage. And that was one of the big reasons I really targeted this camera when I decided I wanted to really upgrade the experience. I knew what it was capable of, and so far the performance has been exactly what I've wanted it to be. The quality of my videos is going to improve dramatically, not just at the 1080p 60 level, but the fact that I can do product overviews, I can do things by shooting in 4K is going to make a big difference. Now, you're going to see some footage of it. I shot with the FC200. It's not very good B-roll, and that's something we're going to talk about here in this video as well. I am nowhere near done with what I can do to improve the video quality of this channel. Another big thing that I need to try and do is get a few more pieces of equipment, maybe a couple of extra lenses. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link in the description below a wish list I have on Amazon that you can check out to see what I am hoping to do with this camera down the road. And as you may see, it's expensive. The 25mm lens is something that I'm focusing in on right now. It's about $150 on Amazon. It could change though by the time I upload this video. We'll see when I edit if I have to correct this or not. I also want to get a slider so that I can kind of do that sliding B-roll that a lot of the people do on YouTube. I think that looks really nice when done well. I just don't have the capability of doing that. And I probably need a better tripod. I would love to have like a jib, a gimbal, all these different things that people use to all these things that people use to present their videos in a much better way. So I'm really looking forward to what could happen as I continue to save and get more money for this kind of investment. But as it stands, this is what you're going to get. You're just going to probably get it on my little mini tripod and me shooting film like this with my fairly cheap shotgun mic, because that's another thing. Shotgun mic, there's a couple of different brands that are out there that would be dramatic increases in quality. What we have here is the Panasonic G7. This is with the 14 to 42mm lens kit. So it's not, super, it doesn't zoom in super far, and it doesn't, give you a whole lot of ultra wide, but it's kind of a nice starter kit. And I got this camera for about $400 on eBay. There was a guy who just wanted to sell it, said it was relatively new. And as you may have seen from the footage I've shot of it, it's the black and gray version. So it's not the super sleek and sexy black one, but for $400, I could not complain. And I went with the one that I thought would give me the best value. We're playing with some lighting too here to try and make things a little bit better. I feel like the lighting could be a little bit better. There's a lot of stuff that I could still do, a lot of things that I could still improve, but I decided to go for this. I felt like this was a good investment, and it's a definite improvement over what I've been using. My content creation, as you may know, started with gaming videos. In fact, it's almost a year that it's been nearly 5 years since I started doing YouTube. And now for comparison, Jay's 2 Cents started 5 years ago and has over 1 million subscribers. I started over 5 years ago and still can't get my crap together. So there's a big difference between what you can do and what you can't do, but you have to be able to make smart decisions and put yourself in that position, and I just have not been able to do it. I'm finally, I think, starting to get to that point now where I'm not just making videos and producing content on real crappy stuff. I have the computer back there that can handle just about anything I throw at it, and now I've got this camera which does a very nice job in just limited testing that I've done. I'm still learning about it, but I think I have a pretty good grasp on it, and I think it's only going to get better. But I did start about 5 years ago. I just did gaming footage. I did commentary over the top of that. It wasn't very good. I didn't really know what I was doing. I eventually decided I wanted to do some actual real life videos, and I started with the webcam on my HP Envy. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, but it was definitely subpar, but I made it work. And I used, I don't think it was the Audio Technica 2020 I had at the time. I think it was the ATR 2500, but it did the job, and that's really all you can ask for. I eventually got a Logitech C615 webcam that also did a nice job until I actually got the webcam that's up on top of the monitor right now, the Logitech C920, which is still pretty much one of the best ones that you can get to this date. I know the 922 is out, but that's just a moderate jump in quality and is still kind of expensive at times, so not really interested in trying to go that route. But I knew that I wanted to do more. Cell phone footage was kind of finicky. I mean, I do have my Note, and my Note does take really, really, really nice video, but it does not have external storage, and I found it to be really finicky to transfer footage from the Note to the computer. It just doesn't always work, so I didn't think that was going to be a real good option. I started setting my sights on actual cameras, camcorders, DSLRs, and I was just starting to realize what mirrorless cameras were. And I came across those and started realizing that the mirrorless cameras were going to be best for video. DSLRs are hands down best for low light and for actual photography. And when you can actually use them for video, they are very good, but there's a pretty huge premium on them. And so this guy has been hovering around $600 to $800 depending on the time that you look. And if you can find it for $500 to $600 with a lens, that's a tremendous deal. You can't really go wrong with it. It's still a great deal even today. And for me, I know some people would be like, well, Sony has a nice one too, a mirrorless. Sony does not have a microphone jack, which was an important thing for me to have. So this camera provides me with the ability to film the quality that I want with the features that I really felt were important for me to continue to make good videos. But anyhow, last year I decided I wanted to do better videos. I went ahead and bought a Canon Vixia HF R50 camcorder. I actually was going to demonstrate. I was going to hold it up in front of the camera, but I don't know where it is. My child has been playing with it, and I have a feeling that she has it stashed somewhere. But I did start with that. I paid about $100 for it. It turned out to be an okay option. You've seen plenty of videos. I don't know exactly when I started filming with it, but it was probably last summer I started using it. And I filmed the entire PC build vlog with it. And it's not a bad camera. It's just not great. I think the image looks really soft, I think is the way I've finally determined that it looks. It just looks soft. I wasn't content with that though. I knew I was going to have to do better, and I knew that the bridge cameras were good, but I knew that there was a distinct gap between the FZ200 and the Panasonic Lumix FZ300. I went with the 200 anyway because it was $250. I thought I would give it a try. That's this guy right here. It does a really nice job as well. The quality isn't as great as the G7, of course, but it's also not as good as the FZ300 either. So the FZ300 I think is another good option for you if you are looking for it, and I've seen it on Amazon for about $500, so definitely something worth considering. But again, I got this guy for $400. Could not beat that price for anything. You've seen a couple of videos shot with this FZ200 though, and again, it does a nice job. And I found that when you actually know what you're doing, it actually takes some pretty decent pictures too, so that's worth noting. But I did try using that for a little bit, and I still wasn't satisfied. And now I feel much better. I've done a lot of testing. I've looked at the results, and I feel like the Panasonic G7 is going to do a very nice job. And so the plans now are to start really getting into some video production. I want to do something where we take a look at what's inside of this computer. I'm not going to disassemble it because that's just silly, because there's no reason to do it. But I do want to take a look and, talk about the case, the processor, the motherboard, the memory, the graphics card, the storage, all that kind of stuff, why those things were chosen and what kind of upgrade paths are available for that. I still want to do the NZXT build video where I talk about their build service. And I want to talk about my life at some point. I actually want to, at some point in time, drive down to Brunswick and actually film some of the areas that I grew up in, that I used to spend a lot of time at, and just kind of take a trip down memory lane doing that. I think that's about it for this video. I really just wanted to talk about the G7 and kind of give you some more looks at what it's capable of doing. You might see some more footage sprinkled in. I don't know if I did it or not. What I really want to try and do is spice up the videos a little bit. I just don't want it to be a talking head, so find some images, find some things that talk about what I'm trying to do. I have the ability to do that. I'm just lazy. I can use OBS to record Chrome, and when I'm talking about something on Amazon, I can record the screen from Amazon and show you what I'm talking about. I have the ability to do that. I have to stop being so lazy with the editing. I think that will make a big difference as well. But I think that's going to do it for this video. I just wanted to take a minute and talk about the G7 and talk about how I think it's going to impact the channel. I think it's going to be great. I think there's still room for improvement. I can get a better microphone. I can get better lighting. I can get better lenses. I can get better equipment to put the camera in. And I think that will really open up the windows of opportunity for this. And once my credit, my credit card is down to about $300-400, I'm gonna start buying some stuff and start looking at it, doing product overviews, and maybe we'll put those things to the side and use them in future builds and future projects. Maybe I'll give them away. Maybe I'll just resell them if they're not worth it. There's a lot of things that I can do. We just got to get to that point. And of course, I'm still thinking about buying a house in the spring. So a lot of stuff that's floating around in my head, but I really want to get the video production back on track. I want to get going with it. I need to stop making excuses, stop coming up with reasons why I can't do it. I like doing the process once I get started. It's just getting myself started that's a bit of a pain in the butt. So that's it. If you've got suggestions for this camera, lenses, equipment to house the camera in, regardless of the cost, I want to know about it. If there's something that you are aware of, I want to know about it so that I can look at it and put it on my list as things to consider for the future. Suggestions for shooting, like this video is, I think it's at an ISO of 400. The aperture is 3.5 and the shutter speed is at 125. I'm still playing around with that stuff a little bit. You've seen some shutter speed tests on here. I think the aperture is great for depth. It's great for depth of field, but obviously as you increase it, the amount of light that comes in decreases. So there's trade-offs to everything. But I found that this camera can handle an ISO up to about 800 and still be pretty good looking, especially at 4K. This guy, it doesn't even like 400. Anything at 400 or above really loses a lot of quality. So that's one of the gains that I get from this G7. But again, that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. I'm not going to sit here and preach about how you should do this and do that to support me. You've seen the links, you've seen the stuff. If you want to, go ahead and do it. If you don't, you don't have to. There's no pressure. I do this for fun. But that's going to be it. Hope you enjoyed it. And until the next time, I'll catch you guys later.